Mr. Bill to come up, share some spoken word.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mr. Bill.
Come on, Bill.
I think the band needs to get back up and be like, boom, boom.
Yeah. Love Jones style.
So, spoken word, huh?
That's it.
That's what I do, I speak words. And I've got a lot of stories, but they're almost all about substance abuse recovery, so it targets a real specific audience. But I do have some other things. I did a little story last time I was here called The Great Reset.
Yes.
And I'd like to do that again and see if I can get it recorded.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of you people you don't want to hear the same thing again, do you?
Let's
Yeah,
do
we
it.
It's my first
It was
time,
great.
so. I have
Okay. Okay, here's the story. This civilization that we currently inhabit has traditionally been called Western civilization, but that name doesn't really apply anymore. We have gone global. We are one giant global civilization. Oh, we still have lots of little neighborhoods with different cultures and languages and traditions, and there's turf wars going on here and there, and players out there playing, but underneath all this surface activity, we are united. We are all one people. Now let's face it, every cell phone on this planet, no matter where it is, who's holding it, what language they're speaking, every cell phone, without exception, displays the same date. It is 2025 on the World Wide Web. Now, people who pay attention to these kind of things tell me that we are approaching 8 billion inhabitants of our civilization today. And that makes me wonder, how many of us there have been from the beginning? When was the first day of our civilization anyway? 4,000 years ago? 5,000 years ago? How many of us have there been? Have there been 100 billion of us? And out of all these billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of people, there's one man standing all alone at the center. Our entire civilization revolves around him. Our history is divided into two parts. What happened before him and what happened since. And so I asked myself, is such a man worth investigating? Am I at all curious about how he did that? Do I want to know who he is? Would I like to understand? And I get 4 yeses, but then I'm sunk. I mean, I'm in so far over my head, I don't know which way the surface is. Because I know that my investigation is going to take me directly to the Bible. And I don't know the Bible. I've never read the Bible. I've read bits and pieces of it over the years, but I've never read the Bible. I've never been to a Bible study. I'm not a churchgoer. I don't know where to look. I don't know where to start. And I'm not looking for rites and rituals or rules and regulations or feast and famine and floods and drought. I'm not looking for prophets and prophecies or magic tricks and miracles. I'm not looking for any of that stuff. I'm looking for understanding. I want to be able to understand how it's possible that out of all these billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of people, that there's one man standing all alone at the center. And I was lost. I mean, I was just totally frustrated. But then one day I had a vision. Immediately after waking up in the morning, and my eyes popped open, and there it was, right out in front of me. A neon sign. It was a deep, dark red neon sign. It had a name on it. 5 letters, all caps. And then a space, and then 2 numbers separated by a colon. Well, that sure looked to me like a reference to a Bible verse, but I didn't know. I didn't recognize that name. I had to go look it up. But sure enough, it was there. The name, the book, the chapter, the verse, and the instant I read it, I understood. I mean, the instant I read that verse, the whole thing just fell together for me. In chapter 6, verse 8 of his work, the Hebrew prophet Micah declared, "He has shown you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? That you act justly, that you love mercy, and that you walk humbly with your God." You see, 750 years later, somebody came along who did just exactly that. He was a homeless, penniless, street-corner preacher. You cannot walk more humbly than that with your God. By all accounts, and there were many, he acted justly. From his baptism in the Jordan to his crucifixion on Calvary, no one could point a finger at him. Pilate and Herod both washed their hands. Satan himself could not point a finger at this man. He acted justly. He was thrown under the bus by his own people, abandoned and betrayed by all his friends. I mean, right down to the last man, abandoned and betrayed. He was publicly humiliated. He was horribly tortured, and then he was executed by the state in the cruelest manner that the Roman Empire could devise. And as he hung on that cross, dying, he prayed for mercy for the people who were doing this to him. And when he did that, boom! The Great Reset. Oh yeah, I know. The Davos dudes, the Bilderberg boys at World Economic Forum, they're all talking about the Great Reset, the Great Reset. They talk about it like it was some future event. You know, apparently worshiping the golden calf causes blindness. Because anyone with eyes can see that the Great Reset happened 2,025 years ago when Jesus reset the clock. Lucifer told me he was there, and he said that the universe shook when Jesus gave up the ghost. Now, I had heard about thunder and earthquake and big rocks cracking and sun going dark, tombs opening up, saints marching in, temple veil torn from top to bottom. I had heard about all that stuff. But Lucifer said that the universe shook when Jesus gave up the ghost. Of course, he also told me that he's a liar, so that could go either way. But because it could go either way, I get to choose what I believe. And I choose to believe that the universe shook when Jesus split time in half. I mean, anybody can split rocks. Jesus split time in half. Baddest mofo that ever walked. The Lion of Judah split time in half.